Greetings, Ventures! This is Lauren Gaming, and welcome to my self-proclaimed, highly anticipated Winter Magic Miracle event story discussion. I wanted to make this video because I think a lot of people aren't appreciating the story events in DAMMMO, or just skipping them outright, and to me, that's rather disappointing. I do understand if you just lack the time to experience these. Just recording the whole story on autoplay reaches over 3 hours, but I truly believe you're missing out on some wonderful scenes and interactions between the characters in danmachi, especially in the case of this event, which is written by the author of the danmachi light novels, Fujino Omori. Most of the time, he just gives the event stories his blessing, but in cases like the amazing Grand Day event story, which you should also experience, he takes the wheel for the story and it clearly shows. Whenever Omori-sensei takes charge of the story, it seems he's really able to play around with the fact that many of the players read the light novels, so there's lots of references that fellow light novel readers get to enjoy. Omori-sensei aside, event stories are great ways to expand on the characters of the danmachi universe that otherwise haven't had much focus in the anime or light novel. Until the recent game adaptation of episode Ryu, not many people knew too much about the waitresses who work at the Hostess of Fertility, but a lot of the events really gave more charm to characters like Anya, Cyr, Chloe, and Runa. Of course, the waitresses, including my favorite character, Ryu, get a lot of shine in this event story. First, we kick the Christmas story off with Belle being hamstringed by Cyr and the waitresses into helping out with working at the pub during Christmas time. Here, we get to see the amazing outfits designed for the event banners, Ryu's being my spectacular highlight because very rarely do we see her in feminine clothes, and she looks gorgeous in them. The hood on Anya's outfit is adorable, Chloe's outfit is pretty and classy, Cyr is provocative as ever, and poor Lunar, she gets a Christmas outfit but no new unit. Hestia and Lily get the new units when they're really just in the story to show off their new art. But let's get back into the meat of the story. We're introduced to an adorable original event character, Noel. We later find out that Noel is a spirit, but it was charming watching her try to mimic the waitresses, while the customers also developed a fondness for Noel. Then of course you have Cyr teasing Belle by having Noel refer to him as Daddy, while Cyr herself is the mommy. Belle just learns to accept whatever Cyr does, as do most people who surround Cyr. Since we're on the subject of Cyr, let's talk about that popular theory that Cyr is Freya. I have remained adamant in my stance that they are not one and the same person, and I have evidence to support that in Volume 8 of the main series, but I won't directly reference anything the anime or game has not covered yet. But seriously guys, if you haven't, please read the light novels. If you enjoy the anime and enjoy the event stories, you'll definitely love the novels as much as I do. This event is considered non-canon to the series as a whole, as are most events, but as this is penned by Omori-sensei, the characters in this event all act like they would, as if the event were canon. And Omori-sensei provided lots of Cyr and Freya teases in this event. We have scenes of Cyr being able to tell when Vito is lying, and the fact that the villain himself is legitimately scared of her gaze, almost as if she were a god. And of course, the most interesting clue is dropped when Cyr enters the dungeon and she monologues. Very subtle teasing, huh? Then, when she is in the dungeon, she is able to sense Noel's location, claiming that it's because of her eyes. And of course, she is able to pressure Alan, the level 6 ace adventurer of Freya Familia, to work alongside his sister, the former level 4 adventurer, Anya. More on those two later. The connection between both Cyr and Freya just can't be ignored. I used to think they were indeed two separate people, but this event has blurred that line for me significantly. I still think Cyr is her own person, but I think that Freya might actually be able to possess her in a sense. But all these Cyr and Freya connections are teases by Omori-sensei until he finally answers our questions in the light novels, and I'm eagerly awaiting that day. Back to the Frommel siblings. To those of you who have only seen the two animes, danmachi and Sword Art Oratoria, Alan might be unfamiliar. He briefly appeared in the scene during episode 10 of Sword Art Oratoria, attacking eyes as a warning to not get too close to Belle by orders of Freya. After that, he was teased in episode Ryu, until finally making a big appearance in this event. I'm really glad to see him, as the developers could be planting the seeds of adding actual new characters as units into the game. Unless you guys really want to see Hestia number 22 and Eyes number 19. The relationship between the Frommel siblings intrigues me, because it's clear that Anya respects her brother a lot by referring to him as Nisama, as opposed to Nisan or Onichan.
Nisama!
But as we can see in the event, Alan doesn't think too fondly of Anya, and it's only until Cyr's persistence that Alan acknowledges her. Previously, it was only inferred that Anya was likely a former Freya familia member, due to sharing the title of Vana with her brother. Anya is Vana Alfie, and Alan is Vana Freya. Also, Otter mentions that he's seen the two Vana in battle before, and it's hard to believe that they would be in separate familias while fighting together. Seeing the relationship between Alan and Anya really makes me want to learn more about them and their past. I'm especially curious about Anya because I always thought it was odd seeing her adventure character art in the game with her having such a serious expression. I had no doubt that the reason Anya stopped being an adventurer has something to do with Mamma Mia partially leaving the Freya familia to open a pub. And of course, Cyr is probably involved in some way as well. To round up the Freya familia talk, I really liked Otter's pep talk to a barely conscious Belle. Otter references the fact that he's also known defeat, but he was able to push through that because he refused to be weak. That makes me want to learn so much more about Otter. There is a chance for us to learn more about these Freya familia members. In the afterword of Familia Chronicle episode review, Omori-sensei teases that the next installment would be related to Freya familia. It's been over a year since the episode review light novel has come out in Japan, but I am remaining hopeful due to the fact that the Japanese releases of Danmachi Volume 14 and Sword Oratoria Volume 11 are coming in December and January respectively. Surely the obvious course of action is for a Familia Chronicle to come out afterwards. I've been jokingly saying that it should be titled Episode Frommel, but I'd like to see the novel divided into parts like Episode Ryu, with there being separate stories for Otter, the Frommel siblings, and Mamma Mia.
シル、最後に何を言ったのですか？
私たちの面倒を見てくれるミヤお母さんのファミリアの名前。
And one last thing, I really wish Anya got an illustration in this event when she landed the final blow on the demi-spirit with that ice spear. She really deserved it. She landed the finishing blow on a monster that closely resembles the spirit monster the Loki Familia struggled with at the end of the Sword Oratoria anime. And I say resembles jokingly because it's pretty much the same model. They should have kept the frosted appearance. Oh well. Hopefully when they do introduce Alan as a playable unit, both he and Anya will be in an event illustration together. But let's talk about the illustration we did get. Previously I said that in the event I would have liked to have seen Belle and Ryu have some kind of combination attack, possibly combining their firebolt and luminous wind spells. I didn't quite get that, but Omori-sensei gave me something I did not expect and it made me so happy to see it. Of course I'm talking about the scene where Belle is using Ryu's weapon, Olive's Lumina, for his Argonaut charged final attack. I just had a big smile on my face the whole time. Ryu's weapon amplifies magic, so I imagine that had a big part to play when it came to the level 2 Belle being able to defeat the level 4 Vito with that attack. But I haven't really talked much about Vito so far, have I? Vito might actually be one of my favorite danmachi villains despite being exclusive to this event. He just struck me as a fun eccentric character who knows he's evil. The way he carries himself and has the right dosage of crazy makes him very appealing as a villain to me and gives me great hopes for future villains that Omori-sensei is planning on writing into the story. Speaking of, it looks like we got a sneak cameo appearance by Ravis by the way of a few voiced lines.
誰だか知らないが余計なことを。17階層に置いてきたのは保険だったが、こうなってはしょうがない。たまには自分で動け。そう伝えろ。
I find this a little funny because they had to get Ravis' voice actress just to voice a minuscule amount of lines. Or perhaps we're planting the seeds for future units again. Who can say? Those of us who keep up with the light novels got quite the treat when Vito references the cursed weapons at his disposal. Readers of the most recent Sword Oratoria light novel, Volume 7, will know what I'm talking about. Then there's the fact that Vito is a level 4 adventurer, meaning that someone out there has to be his god or goddess. And of course, Sword Art Autoria Volume 7 readers have a pretty good idea of who that might be. Sometimes I feel like Omori-sensei is spoiling us. I'm so happy that we get to play through events like these while we wait for the next installments in the light novels. Plus, the voice acting just adds a whole dimension to the way the story is presented.
まさか。
悪を滅ぼさんとする英雄の雄たけびに。
All in all, I'm really happy with the way this event turned out. Noelle was adorable, and she deserves to be made into an assist unit at the very least. We should have gotten Noelle and Lunar on that banner, instead of Hestia and Lily, who are virtually non-existent in the event, but we gotta make some Hestia bucks somehow, I guess. Knowing that Omori-sensei wrote this event gives me a lot of hope for the Heir of the Orion movie, which is based on his original script. This event itself could have been made into a pretty entertaining danmachi Christmas movie, and with the way Vito is written as a villain, I'm eagerly anticipating the danmachi movie more than ever. And of course Season 2 as well, with me knowing what happens due to reading the novels. I hope you guys enjoyed this event as much as I did, and if this was your first time reading through an event, you should definitely check out the previous ones in the Story Digest, specifically Grand Day and Midsummer's Lover's Tale, which in my opinion are two of the best story events in the game, along with this Christmas event. And of course, if you liked what you saw in this event story and haven't read the danmachi light novels yet, you should definitely give them a try. There's so many details the anime skips out or flat out ignores, like in Sword Art Autoria's adaptation. Any fan of the anime or the game should definitely at least try to get into the light novels. The best way to go about them is of course to start from the beginning, despite the fact you'll be going through familiar material due to watching the anime. But if you want to start from where the anime leaves off, you can start with Volume 6 if you've seen the first season of danmachi, and for Sword Art Autoria, you can start with Volume 5 after watching the anime. Though, in Sword Art Autoria's case, I highly recommend at least starting from Volume 2. The fights in that anime suffered a lot, as well as Aiza's character. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This was a pretty big experiment, as I've always wanted to talk about danmachi's story, and not exclusively cover the Danmemo game. You can see me trying to do just that by making reviews of the recent danmachi novels. If you guys want to see more videos of this nature, give me a like and some feedback and I'll be happy to make more videos about the story of danmachi. But I'd seriously like to know what all of you enjoyed about this event story, or you can even tell me what your favorite event story in Danmemo has been so far. Let me know in the comments. If you want to see more of my content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. To follow up on what I'm doing, follow me on Twitter and join my Discord for good old discussion. And as always, continue enjoying your time adventuring in Arario and the dungeon. This is Noel Gaming and I'm signing out.